Yesterday, Geshe Topge was teaching the Rice Seedling Sutra, and that's what we were hearing during the time of the inauguration. And I was so happy that we were doing something virtuous at that time, um, because the rest of the day and the policies that the new president put forth and is determined to enact and made many executive orders about. Some of those I don't agree with, I think are harmful, like withdrawing from the Paris Climate Change Pact, withdrawing from the World Health Organization, these kind of international things that are very important uh, for harmony in the world, and health in the world. So while Geshe-la was teaching the 12 links of dependent dependent arising, I was thinking, what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. All the people at the inauguration, making all the executive orders, they don't know anything about the law of karma and its effects. That's something that they don't know about. They don't obviously think about. And I think if they encountered it, many of them would say, I don't believe this anyway, because even in their own religion, there's some version of ethical conduct, and you reap what you sow, and, something like that. So I thought, okay, um, when Geshe-la was talking about the force of ignorance as the first link producing our rebirth, one rebirth after another in samsara, and how deep our ignorance is, that not only do we not understand how things actually exist and instead actively project an existence on people and phenomena that they don't have. Not only that, but just on a relative conventional level, not knowing about karma and its effects, not taking that into consideration when one decides what to do, and how that just leads to the creation of more and more first links that produce more and more second links and third links, and then you have this whole plethora of um, of karma ready to produce new rebirths that are unfortunate rebirths because the actions motivating them were non-virtuous. And so I thought, that's a real pitiful situation. It's pitiful for the people involved, what ignorance does. And we're not immune from that. Our ignorance starts lots of chains of future rebirth. Hopefully, we're doing some that are virtuous, trying to practice the Dharma. But we also have our attachments and anger and resentments, and we create, lots of beginnings to new painful rebirths. So to have compassion, and to really see, I was thinking what the Buddhas and bodhisattvas are trying to do and how revolutionary that is, compared with the stubbornness of our minds. In other words, what they're trying to do in teaching us about emptiness and teaching us about karma and its effects is totally, flipping the way our minds look at things. And that is a big project. Yeah. And uh, and we've signed up to help them do it. Okay, that's part of our role as monastics, as Dharma practitioners, lay practitioners as well, to put, some love, compassion, joy, equanimity, ethical conduct, put that into the main culture and put that into the people that we meet, yeah, and encounter. And that's the way to go forward, you know. Yes, you could just throw up your hands and say, you know, you know, look what's happened, and go through the usual laundry list of everything that the MAGA movement is wanting to do that we don't agree with. We could do that and criticize and hate and, get involved in all of that, which just joins the ruckus, doesn't it? And produce more of the above. know? So, this is what is really radical in being a Dharma practitioner, is to respond with compassion, with tolerance, speaking the truth, standing up for ethical conduct, standing up for compassion. Yeah. So, not being a wimp, but having, compassion for people who don't think about their future lives. Yeah. Let alone think about awakening. And so, yeah, that's our way of going forward. Yeah, so not falling into depression or anger, but we have to help the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, even though we're part of the people that they are trying to educate, who are resistant, saying, but, I want this and I want that, and I don't like this and I don't like that. And isn't that okay, Buddha? So, working on ourselves and giving what we can to everybody else. Okay, so let's have that be our motivation, not only for this teaching, but for what we're doing, with our lives in a monastery in America right now. Questions or comments about that?
I have to say that this is very helpful, Venerable, in that when I see what's happening in the world, it makes my role in the bigger piece much more focused and much more intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a certain level of urgency, not in a tight way, but in a get your act together kind of way. And I try to imagine the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and how they don't ever give up on us, no matter what we're doing.
Yeah.
And to be able to be part of their voluntary troops, to be able to raise the love and the compassion in the world. And that our role in this world is becoming more and more evident to me, that it matters even more than I thought it did.
Yeah.
So it's bringing my heart more into a level of commitment that I have not ever felt in relationship to the world, to my practice, yes, to this community, yes, to my teacher, yes. But the world's always been somewhat of a rather morphy kind of thing. But to realize that our place in the world does have importance right more than ever.
So a lot of the anger and depression and discouragement I've noticed is because my expectations are unrealistic of sentient beings. And it's really showed me how more I need to reflect on ignorance and the condition that sentient beings are in. I think I really don't fully appreciate how distorted our minds are. And then, I expect people to act in a way that's infused with wisdom and compassion and loving kindness. And then I'm shocked and irate when they don't. And it's just like, where is that anger coming from? It's coming from my own deluded expectations. It's not coming from them. And when I focus on them, then it's much more easy for compassion to arise.
Yes.
And it's not all about what I want, what I think is right. It's really about what are other people experiencing right now, and how can I make a positive difference in the situation. But it's so like not natural for me to think like that. And so this whole experience has been another wonderful reminder of just how much I need to keep working on thought training. And the source of my pain is really my mind. It's not what's going on outside.
For me, what was up after reading a little bit from yesterday is fear comes up. Not so much anger, but there's one of the tech billionaires, Musk, who after his talk in something, I don't know, with all the people, he made the gesture and
He did something that looked like a Nazi salute.
Nazi salute, and that just, I mean, that has, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, that did not work for me. But what you did say is we have to stand up for compassion, so we don't hide in fear, we don't cower, we stand up for what is compassionate and ethical, and it is not that. It is not that.
So I read about that as well. And of course, some people are claiming, well, it wasn't that. And others are saying, which I found interesting and quite believable actually, oh, this, he makes that gesture and others have been making that gesture just to get to the liberals. And I've seen this argument before where people on the right will make hand gestures that maybe have something to do with white nationalism, and then people laugh and say, oh, look how upset the liberals are getting. Look how upset the media is getting. And I find it interesting to think like, wow, to that idea of trying to get a rise out of someone.
What?
Trying to get a rise out of someone, right?
Yes.
Like trying to make someone upset, trying to intentionally push their buttons. Where, like, it's so unkind.
Yeah.
Where do I do that? I can think about, there's the little ways we do that in our day-to-day life. But when the political groups that I agree with are in charge, do we do that to the people that don't agree with us? Like, where are the places on that political scale? And I can't necessarily think of anything off the top of my head, but to just remember that, we should be kind in our both personal dialogue and that political, national and global dialogue.
Yeah. And to also realize that intentionally pushing somebody's buttons and then commenting on it is a very good way to mask the real reason why you're doing those productive things, because it is setting forth a certain view. And so it's a very nice way of, the thing of, I'm just joking. Yeah. So we have to be quite careful about that.